Hello everyone, welcome to this video. My name is Ryan. I have cerebral palsy and I've used a walker my entire life. When you have a disability, one thing you experience almost every day are little inconveniences. This video is about how not every inconvenience is an injustice and not everything needs advocacy. But first, gotta get a sip of coffee. A few years ago, I participated in a university study. This study was about people with cerebral palsy and how they deal with interpersonal relationships. During the call, people were super cool. The students were really cool. They asked me a bunch of questions about what it was like living with cerebral palsy. What's it like dealing with people? I told them just the truth about what it was like living with cerebral palsy and how I saw the world. So a month goes by after our initial interview, and I get the final study. And the final study, and I'm not even joking you, everything that I told them went out the window, and word for word, they said, we just need to advocate more for people with cerebral palsy. And I was like, wait a minute. Everything that I told them had nothing to do with advocacy. What makes them think that they need to advocate for me? I thought this was like legitimate research. I thought that they were actually going to take what I said to heart. It's like they already had their mind made up. They already knew what they were going to say. They just wanted to find people that confirms how they already thought, how they already saw the world. And to them, they were just like, we're just gonna advocate, we need to advocate more for people with cerebral palsy. Personally, I think that is a very lazy way to do research. And I was kind of offended by that. After me taking time out of my day to contribute to this research, the best you could come up with was we need to advocate more for you. When you use a word like advocacy, what you're really talking about is mobilizing power, whether that's through lawsuits or social media callouts or creating some sort of outrage. The problem is it frames everything as some sort of a battle, as some sort of civil rights issue that has to be won. And I totally disagree with that. Let me tell you a story. I saw a video a few months ago of a guy who was in a wheelchair. He was at a hotel and the beds were a little too high. So he had a difficult time getting from his wheelchair to the bed. And so he asked the front desk if they could adjust that for him to make it lower. And the people were super cool. Maintenance came in, they adjusted the bed. He was able to get in and out. But at the end of the video, he said something about how you have to advocate for yourself. There's a difference between advocacy and being a responsible adult. A responsible adult sets boundaries and gets their needs met. Advocacy is about, like I said, mobilizing power. Not every inconvenience requires mobilization of power. Now, this guy's probably a super nice guy. I don't know, I just saw this video on the internet. I'm struggling to understand how someone asking the hotel to lower it so that they can get in and out affects me. Because when you're advocating for something, you are advocating for us, for the collective. That doesn't benefit me at all. Like what? I don't know. What does that have to do with me? My takeaway from that video that I saw was that I respect that the guy stuck up for himself, that he got his needs met. But let's be real. You're not Rosa Parks just because you went ahead and you asked the hotel to lower the bed for you. You're not noble because you did that. You're just getting your personal needs met. You are being an adult. I mean, the truth is not everything is that big of a deal. Sometimes that's just the way it is in life. And there are inconveniences out there for everybody, not just people with disabilities. Now look, I definitely have a lot of sympathy for this because I've definitely experienced situations that have really irritated me in public settings. Here, let me give you an example. A couple years ago, I was on a flight. Now, I have flown my entire life. I've been on, 1,000 flights. Most of the time, 99.9% of the time, flight attendants are super cool. They're super nice, they're extremely helpful, and they want to make your experience pretty good for the most part. On this particular flight, I have my bags, I get up to the plane, And usually what I do is I ask for the flight attendant to help me carry my bags to my seat, and then for someone to hold my hand so they to help me walk back to my seat. On this particular flight, for whatever reason, the flight attendants refused to help, and they refused to assist me back to my seat. And as you can imagine, that is not an ideal situation. I actually had to ask a passenger behind me to help me with my bags back to the seat and help and hold my hand so I could get to my seat because the flight attendants refused. I was definitely furious at that. I had thought, do I want to make a video? Do I want to post this on X? Do I want to create some sort of outrage and call out the airline and whatever? I had actually complained to the airline after that. I told them that they were rude, that they didn't want to assist, and this whole thing went on for 2 months, and I ended up getting a refund for my plane ticket, but then I started thinking to myself, was it even really worth it? The plane ticket itself was $75. I had talked to these people for 2 months to get a $75 refund. And here's what I'm getting to. One of the things that I've learned about life is that there's only so much time in a day and you only have so much energy. You have to choose your battles wisely. And not everything is about picking a fight and putting it on a public stage for other people to witness. Not everything needs to go that far. Sometimes there are people out there that just suck, and it doesn't have to be turned into some kind of movement.